You can call this morning's guest Your Honor, Colonel, Professor, Chief Judge, philanthropist, entrepreneur, so many others. I'm just going to call him Dad. Meet Robinson Everett, coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Easter Chicago Pizza on 40th Avenue North and Kings Highway here in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on part 3 of Robinson Oscar Everett. And we're visiting with the man himself. Good morning, Dad.
Great to be with you, Greg.
Part 3 for viewers who weren't with us yesterday or even the day before.
And I've been cross-examined by my son for the past 2 days.
You've been cross-examined for the last hour. We got another 25 minutes of it. I'm glad you came back for part 3. I think it's the great buffet here at Easter Chicago that keeps getting you back day after day.
I'm looking forward to it in a matter of minutes.
This place is amazing. Their buffet, even they were kind enough to pull it out early here in the morning for us to experience it. But it is pizza done right, as they say here. Pete, the pizza guy up front. This place is amazing.
This is great.
You know, Emma Claire had her 4th birthday party here. We had folks in from all over. Hilda, our around-town columnist, was here to snap some great shots along with her granddaughter. And
I wish I could have been here myself.
It was a great time, absolutely.
Get me back for the next one.
We will. If we have number 5 down here, or 6 or 7, we'll definitely do it. You know, it was so exciting the last couple of days. We were really only in the early 50s, and we've got another 50-plus years of your legal training and education and, of course, teaching. But, of course, a very exciting thing happened in, was it 1954 in Washington, while you were up there as a commissioner on the U.S. Court of Military Appeals? What was that, Dad?
Oh, my mother and Dad came up, and lo and behold, we all got sworn in together to the bar of the U.S. Supreme Court. And that was quite an experience. The first time that any family of 3 people like that had ever done that.
That's right. The first triple family swearing in the history. I wonder if they've done it since then.
I think some family did it later. I may be wrong.
Right. But 1954 was a big year.
We got there first.
Many things. And in addition, I believe in 1956, did you not write a book that year?
I think I wrote it earlier and finally got it published in 1956. I discovered writing a book is a lot easier than getting it published.
Oh, yeah.
But this was published.
What was the book about?
About military justice.
Okay.
It was a summary, and I've got a contract to update it now 50 years later.
Is that right? Wow.
All you got to do is write it.
You better get to it, Dad. That's right. Update it. That's going to take some work.
It will.
You've got some other books in the hopper, is that right? Or ones you're planning to work on?
Well, what I want to do is do a history of my 10-plus years as Chief Judge of what was then the Court of Military Appeals.
Right.
Name's been changed to Court of Appeals for the Armed Forces. So I've got to do that. I want to try it. And then I'm trying to work on a project that involves my father's diary. He, as I mentioned when we were talking
yesterday, the day before,
he was a very remarkable person, had a unique career, and one of the things that was unique was that each week, beginning around 1915, he would write a diary, typically on Sunday night, telling what had happened and what he expected the week ahead. And he kept doing that until 1970.
45 years.
I think it's 55.
You're right. I'm not good with math. That was not my forte. That's right. 55 years.
The only problem was that it was in hieroglyphics. You could hardly read it.
Really?
And fortunately, your younger brother, Luke, was willing to break the code and transcribe it. And I think the material there is going to be fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
A history, and Father was involved in a lot of activities in the legislature, handled a lot of interesting cases, had some interesting investments. And I think that history is going to be very, very interesting. In fact, before he died, he asked me, as I was going to be his executor, to destroy the diary. He said it was so personal.
Really?
Yeah, and I said, I can't do that.
You told him, though, that you wouldn't do it.
I told him, Father, you don't want me to do that. It's too much history there. Well, he'd been very much of a historian. He'd worked with people at Duke and others who were historians, and he agreed with me finally and said that's
good.
Right. So,
good. So you didn't.
No. I
didn't cancel his deathbed wish. That's good.
I just don't think I could have brought myself.
That would have been very difficult if he took a diary for 55 years. That's amazing. I'm so glad you mentioned Luke, my younger brother, because it gives an opportunity to share about what he and his wife and my older brother all. They were just heading into their third year of law school.
You know, there may be another record. I mentioned the record when our family got sworn into the bar of the U.S. Supreme Court.
Right.
I am wondering whether there will not be a record when you've got two brothers and one of their wives, all with the name Everett,
right,
scheduled to graduate at UNC Law School in September of next year. That's September. In June, May of next year.
That's right. Now that's exactly
May
right.
of 2008. That's almost unbelievable. Three at one time for
That's
the
right.
same family.
Of course, it's particularly unbelievable in that they're studying at the law school where the law library is named after their grandmother or grandmother-in-law.
And whenever they go into that law library, they've got to look up at the big portrait of
Catherine Robinson Everett. That's exactly right. Catherine.
Yeah.
Catherine is, as she aptly pointed out, her niece and namesake, Catherine Neal, does as good or better a job, your first cousin, in highlighting the name Catherine than virtually anyone I know.
Yeah. So I think they may be making some history, and we still have a family firm.
Yes.
Everett and Everett.
Everett and Everett.
And
of course, you're the only Everett in that Everett and Everett.
The only one alive. But
the only one alive.
My mother and dad are there in spirit.
So it's really Everett, and Everett.
Yeah. People thought I was Secretary stuttered, Everett. But now it may be possible, if the kids, some of them join us, to have Everett again. I don't know.
Or even more. 5 Everetts there. You can use that name. There's another Everett law firm in Raleigh, Everett, Gaskins, Hancock, and Stevens, of which I believe you're of counsel.
I'm of counsel to them, and the Everetts say, I guess, are my mother and dad and myself. I'm not sure, but it's a long-established firm.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Of the Sanford firm and the Terry Sanford firm. And
some of those people.
Some of those folks merged in there together, which is very exciting. You know, we mentioned Ned Everett yesterday, Dad, who's been like a brother you never had, who's been such a close friend and confidant, and a former student of yours. Is that correct?
Right. Ned is my double second cousin, whatever that means. I think it's two grandparents married... two male grandparents married two female grandparents.
Right.
Anyway, he was my law student. He's been a wonderful friend.
Yes.
When I go to Washington, I frequently will stay with him.
Yeah, and he was there on the 17th floor, maybe, of the River House, or of the 7th floor for many years.
And he was a counsel for the Merchant Marine and Fisheries Committee of
That's
the
right. Worked on the Hill for a long time. Has been a realtor there in Virginia Realty for many years. You know, there's so many. You think of so many past students. Not many of them you were related to, but a heck of a lot of students over your 50-plus years of teaching at Duke Law School. Continuous since '56.
Yeah, I guess that's about right. I think I
taught that 1 year, which you shared with us a couple days ago. 1 year, 50 to 51, left for 5 years, came back in '56.
I hate to admit it, I don't know whether it was in the fall semester of '56 or the spring semester of '57.
Is that right?
It was 50 years ago.
Sure,
anyway.
50 years continuous anyway. That's right. And, of course, the excitement there. And then you were tenured in '67. I think you said you got an LLM there at Duke in 59. Right.
I thought if I was going to be teaching there, it would be nice to have a degree.
Absolutely.
And I took courses on the GI Bill.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's amazing. There's so many things that happen over the course of that all that time, Dad. It's over the 50-plus years straight. It's amazing.
It really is. It's been exciting, and great variety. I've tried to get involved in some public service activities over the years.
Absolutely. It's great being here at East of Chicago Pizza. They're kind to let some folks in at 7 a.m. to come in and enjoy skee ball. We've got a mom and her son, I guess, or some others, a child over there enjoying skee ball here.
Yeah.
East of Chicago does it all. It's pizza and fun done right.
It provides an interesting background.
A great background there. Absolutely. You can see why Emma Claire loves this place so much. Well, we think it's not only, of course, teaching the law at Duke, also practicing the law, but in 1980, you changed focus a little bit and share with viewers what happened in the year 1980.
Well, I'd been active after I got off active duty. I stayed in the Air Force Reserve, became a full colonel before I retired in 1978.
Right.
I was chair of the Military Justice Committee of the American Bar at one point. So I had a continuing contact, wrote some articles on military justice. And I was approached one day, I think it was just about the time of my last Air Force tour of duty, a two-star general whom I knew asked me whether I would be willing to be considered for appointment to a vacancy on the Court of Military Appeals. And I thought, well, sure, why not? I thought it was all just some sort of dream, as it were. When I came home and told my wife, she wasn't very happy, with the idea that I was might be going to Washington. I said, well, that's very, very doubtful. And I was only going to be filling a 13-month, some month expired term.
Right.
And time went on. I guess actually at that point it would have been 2 or 3 years. Well, the filling of vacancies is very, very slow. But I realized the general was serious when I got a call to come to the Pentagon and meet with an assistant Secretary of Defense and some other people. So things moved ahead. Jimmy Carter was president. Carter had a commission appointed to consider potential candidates. I was called before that commission, and apparently they recommended me to the White House.
Amazing.
And all of a sudden I was appointed. Interestingly, that court has a statutory requirement that not all the members of the court be of the same political party. There were then 3 judges on the court, actually 2 because of a vacancy, and those 2 were Republicans.
Right.
So Jimmy Carter had to appoint a Democrat, and I was a Democrat. Now there are 5 judges. There could be only 3 of one party. But in any event, I got word that I was going to be appointed. And,
right.
It was in April of 1980. I went before a Senate committee.
Yeah.
I guess I gave the right answers to the questions, and there I was, confirmed and then sworn in. And ironically, although at that time, apparently I was to serve only 13 months, Congress changed the law to say that anybody appointed to fill an unexpired vacancy would serve at least 10 years, either the unexpired amount of the term
right.
or a minimum of 10 years.